this is Virginia from Peaceful Acres Farm, and today we're going to be making a succulent pendant. This is a program for Trussville Public Library. Let's go over our supplies. So you're going to need a cookie sheet, a piece of just regular computer paper, a toothpick, or a couple if you break them like I do. You'll need a template for your pendant, a itty bitty jump ring. You'll need some transparent clay, some green clay, some copper colored clay, and something to attach your pendant to, like a necklace chain or a keychain. It helps if you have jewelry pliers, but if you don't, you can usually close the jump ring with your fingers, or even just a regular pair of needle nose pliers that you have at home. And it helps to have a rolling pin, but again, not required. You can just smush it with your fingers. And a piece of parchment paper to work on, and then an oven to bake your clay in. So the very first thing we're going to do is condition our clay, and that means you just play with it and smush it, and you get it warmed up so that it cures properly in the oven. Once you get your clay warmed up, you're going to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch on your parchment paper. It always helps to work on your parchment paper. I like to flip it over so you get that smooth side that was on the parchment paper. Then you want to put down your template, and you can use a toothpick or a knife to cut it out. If your clay is hard, sometimes it's tough to do it with the toothpick and you'll have to get a knife. And this one was kind of hard, so let's see what happens here. Just peel that away and take off your template, and you want to smooth the edges with your fingers. Alright, now we are going to rough up the surface with the toothpick to kind of create some interest on the surface so it looks a little better. And you really just take the toothpick and just kind of pick at it. And it creates these little divots, and you just want to cover the surface in that. And then you can rub off any crumbs. Just kind of flatten it back out. Now we're going to make the succulent to go on the front. Now we're going to condition our transparent clay and our green clay, and you can actually do this by mixing them together because you're supposed to condition clay for the length of time that it would take to mix two colors together, so this is perfect for that. I'm going to start out with just a little bit less of the transparent clay than the green clay and see if I like the way it looks. So I ended up using a little more of the transparent clay than the green clay, and when it bakes it'll be a nice pretty green for a succulent. So I'm just going to take part of this and roll it into a snake, and it takes very little of this to make the succulent. Now you want to take your toothpick and divide it up. Let's chop off this little tapered end. And you want to do 7 equal pieces. Then you want to do 5 slightly smaller pieces. And then you want to do just one itty bitty piece for the tiny little thing on top, the petal on top. So we're going to take each one of these pieces and roll them into a small ball. So you're just going to roll it between your fingers and get it a little bit elongated. And then you're going to use your fingers to kind of taper one edge so it looks like a succulent petal, and then kind of flatten it so that you form a teardrop shape. So now I'm going to attach the succulent petals to the teardrop shape. So I'm just going to start taking one by one, and we're going to put them in a circle, and I like to use my toothpick to kind of attach it to the pendant, to the teardrop. And you're just going to go in a circle. And now you want to do the inner circle with the smaller petals. And you don't want to mush it down as hard with your toothpick because you don't want to see those marks. So I would just use your finger at this point. And so for the very smallest petal, you just want to put it upright in the very middle. And the heat of the oven will help it stick as well. Once you're done attaching your succulent, you want to put a hole in the top to be able to attach your necklace chain. And you want your jump ring to be able to reach, so be sure and put it close enough to the edge where it will reach. So I'm just going to use the toothpick to make a small hole. Just like that. Now you want to preheat your oven to 275 degrees. Put your parchment paper on a cookie sheet and cover it up with a piece of computer paper and bake it for about 1 hour. Once your pendant has cooled, you want to attach the jump ring and then put it on your necklace chain. So make sure that your jump ring is open. And you want to slip it onto the pendant. And then you want to put your necklace chain on there as well. And a lot of times you can get the jump ring closed with your fingers, but if you can't, use some needle nose pliers. So you want to hold one side with the pliers and then use your hand to just hold the other side still and then push them closed. And you're done. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. We're gonna craft, craft, craft.